on to the next project, which is mounting this box here into the wall, and this is what's going to power the compressor. See, the problem here, is that is supposed to be in the wall. It's not very safe open like that, and it's just kind of hanging out the attic and past the sheetrock that I damaged, which now I'm going to have to replace. But anyhow, I had a subscriber ask me about wiring and all that, and let me just say I am not an electrician at all. I just recommend if you're going to do any work, hire a licensed electrician, and just, you could use what I'm saying to kind of see what the job entails and know how hard or whatever it is. But I grew up around the stuff, but I feel pretty comfortable doing it. So that being said, before I touch the inside of that box, that is 220 volts, we're going to go out here and kill the breaker. 2 breakers for the compressor. Now, you might ask, maybe you ask, houses in America here only run on 110. And if you see a single breaker, that is 110. See how this is the range, this is the heat to AC. These are double breakers. What it is it crosses over 2 legs, and each leg, each breaker is 110. Those 2 combined make to your 220. That being said, know what kind of power you're going to pull. My compressor's only rated at like 15 or 20 amps, so I have a 20 amp breaker. Obviously the AC is 30, and heat, because it uses so much more, is 60. The panel's 90, the range is, and those are going to dictate to what kind of wire you are using. I'm using a yellow Romex, which is rated for, I believe, up to 30 amps. So you also need the corresponding wire. This is why I said it's better off to get an electrician, unless you know what kind of gauge wire goes with what and everything else, because you can overheat stuff. If you have too big of a breaker, if I put like a 60 amp breaker on that compressor that it's only supposed to draw 20, say it's a short, it draws 30, it's not going to pop the breaker. It's going to start melting the wire if the wire's too small. Or say you got a 60 amp and you're running like the 30 amp wire, you can run into problems. So it's kind of important to know what you're talking about when you're messing with electricity. So fortunately, I have a master kill, but see these legs right here, that's a mount for a breaker. See, there's only one. I only have enough room here for one more breaker. This is the one I installed for the compressor, and see, it goes over 2 legs. It's a 220. Here's my yellow Romex wire. The copper wire here runs to a ground lug, which hopefully you can see right there. There's also a bigger one up here, and another one that looks like right there, but here's the main smaller wire, ground lugs. And then you have your black and white wires. Normally on a 110, black is hot, that's what carries your current, and white is your return, which is absolutely backwards from if you're working on a car. Black would be ground, and you have red as hot. You notice there's no red here as far as out of this yellow wire. You have your bare copper ground and a black and a white. The black and white go one to each breaker. Each wire is now carrying 110 volts, which is what's giving me 220 on the other end. Alright, now here's my yellow Romex again on the other side. The green lug. Green is always ground. And then you also have your 2 wires. So with this being 220, it does not matter. Usually I believe the gold would always be black, and then you have a silver that's returned. But see, both of these are gold, meaning they're both hot. And right now I have to undo this because I need to drop this wire through the ceiling. Alright, next step is to get this into the wall. So the way this box works is, as you tighten this screw up, these blades here expand out, and that's what locks the box into the wall. So I've already found where my stud is, right here, which is actually going to work out good because I have 2 studs right here, and I will be able to mount my hose reel for the compressor right here. So that's going to be the next project. But got a sheetrock knife here, and Next step is to run the wire. Now right here is wood, because that's the way they frame the house. So what I have to do is drill through there to be able to run my wire. Is run this fish down through there because there's so much insulation. I think I'm gonna have a hard time trying to run that wire all the way through. And then what I'll do is I get down there, I'll be able to hook a string or something to it. Wow. I already measured, that should be about where it's gonna end. We got it. So now, I don't have any string, but here's the next best thing. I have a crap load of telephone wire, and it's pretty strong stuff. To make it easier to fish, I'm cutting that end off that I'd already done. It's gonna be so much easier just to have a smooth tip. Woo! Here we go. We got it, baby. This cable locks. These little slots here hold the wire. So you only want to pull out, you need just to pull out just enough because you can't push it back through. And don't forget, this stuff is kind of hard. So, and now we'll go ahead and tighten this thing up so it'll hold. That feels pretty good. Now we just need to strip back some of this wire. And what I'm going to do is take a pair of pliers and roll this to make a hook. This will make it easier to connect to here. Man, what do you think about that sick friggin' stainless cover too for that? Ooh! Now, if we throw the breaker and it pops back, then we know something's wrong, and it did. And it works! So hopefully you got some informative information out of this as to how it works to wire up a 220 and what it actually takes to run it through your house and drop it down through a wall, and how to insert an outlet and stuff like that. Like I said in the beginning, I am not a licensed electrician, so don't go and try to do this on your own based on what I'm saying. This was just informative to kind of show you how this is done. It is, I mean, just critical. Do not play in these boxes. I can't stress that enough of how much power is in there, and you can get yourself hurt or do damage to your house, like I said. You know, so don't scrutinize me in the comments. You know, I know car audio a whole lot better. I mean, I feel comfortable in this. I know that the Yellow Romex is sufficient to run that compressor. It's rated at like 15 amps, and that wire is good for like 30, I believe. So like I said, I know it's good to run that. It's legal. I did it in my other house, and the home inspector totally passed it, no problem. Like I said, I know car audio better. Like I know, I could tell you just by looking at that's 8 gauge, and I know there's probably some 4 gauge laying in there. And like I said in my video, like this, the hot water heater I think was on a 60 amp breaker, and here you have orange wire. So now they like color code everything to kind of make it easier so you could spot the wiring. Like I said, this was just informative. My last vlog I just showed that I put in the breaker and I turned on the compressor, and I had a good long-term viewer of mine ask if I could show more. He was kind of interested in knowing. I said no problem. I still had the wire in the outlet, so I kind of had to open up the breaker and do all this again. So this is why I made the video, because you know it's what I like to do for my viewers, especially ones that have been around a really long time and comment in every video. I don't mind helping people out. So like I said, I highly just recommend getting an electrician if you're going to do this. This is just informative, so that way you kind of know in your head, like, hey, this is what it takes. And if you feel comfortable or whatever, by all means do it, but I'm not going to tell you to. So, again, hopefully you got some good information from this. If you don't mind, I'm a veteran. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I definitely appreciate it. Help me grow the channel. And if you're into things like cars, like this beautiful Chevy SS or my Camaro, my Grand National, stuff like that on the back, come on and join this train, man. Me and my wife, we live a crazy life. We just got married. We still got a lot of places to go and visit, and she's a beautiful woman, so maybe you want to check her out as well. So anyhow, appreciate the support, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. And again, please don't kill me in comments. I've made it clear I'm not a licensed electrician, but I do know everything I did here is totally legal and will pass. So again, thanks a lot. And I do have the support of my dad that is an electrical engineer, so I do have that in my favor. So again, everybody, thanks, and hopefully we will see you in the next one.